Welcome, my friends of the great central sun. I stand in your midst as an example, a beacon, and a way for you to see how certain aspects of life can be brought forth into your reality that could allow you to bring more light, more of the necessary infusement of sacred fire to your brethren and sisters. Our responsibility is great, for that is the initiative of what takes place when you are given that information from the ascended masters. The I am of all things is now upon the fold of the page we are turning in this book of life. And you must act, no matter how or whether you do not even wish to partake in activities of what we are bringing forth. But you may not know that this way of life engenders you to be a guardian of truth and of action to everyone in your life and around the world. You must stand bold. You must be diligent in that intricate vibration that is constantly flowing through you to direct your affairs, your calls, your manner in which you engage in life. If you would know how we are looked upon from the Ascended Masters, they would see us, see our thoughts, see our feelings, see our motives, and you must know that they went through everything that we have gone through. Yes, they've gone through different experiences, as every experience is different in itself, because life is always changing and it will never always be the same. But we must truly be grateful for the path they have led, for us to come to this point now. or I would never be speaking to you in this manner, or even just at all, if it weren't for some of the great ones that have come before. Like our dear Moria, Saint Germain, the great ones from Venus, and there's an aspect of divine love that drives you to come into their vision, their mission, and their desire to bring the Golden Age consciousness for all life. They know, and they are watching all the students of what they will choose to do with their attention. Whether they decide to hold fast to the sail of where the boat is going, and know in their heart that if they say true to the word of their being, the word of the masters, and the word of divine love, which may be a resemblance of fierce power. I say this because in order for certain effects of light, for certain circumstances to be brought forth into the perfection that is needed, a powerful force is needed to come through your life, or whatever condition that is not being tempered into the right direction with the touch of the mother's heart. There is an aspect of understanding that not many are grasped through just certain concepts that are branded upon their life for them to go into the will of God. And this is where the student needs to bring forth their inner strength to see what really is taking place in their consciousness, to contemplate, meditate, to call forth illumination's flame, the ray of purity. And if there in your consciousness you are saturated with imperfection and mortal consciousness, call forth the blue ray, call forth the emerald matrix, the emerald fire of Cyclopeia, and many of the green ray beings that will bring forth the overlay of the flames of God to make sure your circumstances are brought forth into alignment, in which to understand certain ways of life. We are on the edge of the battle, and everyone in it is in you, as that is a true plane in which to see how all life is connected to the Mighty I Am presence. Electrons brought forth from the great central sun. That is the commander of your life that continues on. You must know and really understand that other parts of the world that have issues, and other parts of the world that things are not coming into order, you must know that if these circumstances, these conditions, these people, if they are not dealt with, and the people don't stand true to the light of God that never fails, that is at their command every hour of every day, to annihilate them, that these conditions will overlay all areas of life, all areas of individuals that are not taking command. You must call forth the ray of illumination and the discernment of the emerald ray to allow you to step into the areas of life that require calls to certain conditions, in which the youth, the children, most need because of the environment of education, music, family, religion, is inflicting their consciousness upon the lowest of the low. You have the power to stop that. And it is time for all of us to take initiative. Many of the dispensations do not really go into much specificality onto the primary necessities of what calls need to be done for the youth, for the children. It is not a constant reminder to the members, to the torchbearers, to the light servers, what is really transpiring in these conditions. And unless you have witnessed these conditions in your senses, you will know that the immediate action that needs to be taken against these conditions. Calls for the annihilation of ISIS need to be brought down. So much of the abuse that many are unaware of that takes place on these captives that ISIS has is not something that you would like in your consciousness, but it is necessary to know of some of the scars to get the co-measurement some of the experiences these people have had, these women, especially young women, that are taking place upon their very instruments, their physical garments, and it is not something that is delightful at any level. The musical industry of the world needs the divine justice of the hand of God, which is required by your call and your call only. It's one of the main roots to the downfall of where our younger generation is going, and you must stop it. You must bring forth these experiences that need to be dealt with many times throughout the day, if you are not already calling for them, if you are not already bringing forth a radiation of directed consciousness of love to many of these great ones. To many of these beautiful, loving children and young people in America, in the Middle East. Calls is what is necessary. Calls is what will bring judgment. Decrees, commands, fiats, and demands of every God flame, of every God being, of every possible way to bring the hand of God into the conditions that must be balanced. Do not let your gaze down, no matter what friends come into your life, no matter what posts you read in your life, whatever shows you decide to watch come into your life. The minute any of them that is not of the perfection of God, that is not the energy that helps you construct the golden age for all, do not bring a sense of divine humor, of purity into your consciousness. Raise your gaze on high and do not let the lower activities of God in your consciousness anymore right now. The conditions of the world must be dealt with, and no longer can we continue to be lazy, be selfish, and allow the world to deal with itself. Because that is the consciousness that we are all. That has made it the way it is. And if a consciousness is not higher, if it is not different, in a God-like way, much of what we see and sense upon earth will be in a state of which you already know we do not want. So now, embrace the nature of the white fire core being in everything that will expand, that will rise and change the environments of all life by the calls, by the seraphim and cherubim, with the angelic host to bring forth their momentums into these areas. You have legions of angels at your command, and that is your divine authority that is given to you just by your nature of embodying on this planet. And if that does not sense like that is a good enough reason, then come into the understanding of who you are. Come into the great, great silence, into the very sacredness of life, of the breath, of the rays from the eyes of God that you behold in your day-to-day lives, or perhaps not. Maybe it may be your own, but just know that there is no other reason for us being here but to bring forth the light, the love, and the nature of God greatness, brotherhood, friendship, kindness to all life. And if you are not prepared, you must make yourself prepared. Into the steps of purification of your instruments, of your garment that you wear, in order for you to bring forth the momentum that is necessary to annihilate, in one call, massive conditions that affect millions, perhaps. Into the momentum of a call, of music, of even just being, and radiating from a state of purity and perfection, brings divine justice to many things you know not of, until you will ascend. Truly, God you are, God you can bring to all. And if you have not made the decision to put away those patterns that lie beneath the rug, that lie behind the wall in the consciousness, then just feel the love of God in a space that is nearby, just for a few moments, and hold it there for a little bit longer, and bring some music perhaps, classical elements of Gaelic from the United Kingdom, Old Irish, where the angelic tongues are spoken, in certain fashions I should say, but this will allow you to come into the fore of an infusement of light, for you to see and feel the desire for you to push away those things that are in the back of your consciousness, that are lingering lingering habits that you have pushed aside, relationships, circumstances that you know that need to be dealt with and that are not. You must bring yourself, you must force yourself into these conditions where you are infused with greater light, somehow, some way. Perhaps entering the great, great silence for a period where the distraction of the light that flows through you is not permitted, or I shall say that the light that streams forth through you in the great, great silence is not permitted when we need to bring justice to everything. Take up Liberty's torch and know that she will go with you wherever you go, into the most condensed paths that you wish which you wish have not have happened to you, but all happen for you to rise higher, for you to know who you are truly, that you can part the waves of the ocean, that you can part the wars of the world, that you could part the drug beast and the music beast back to the sun from whence all came. Infuse that into your cellular structure and go forth. Take up your tools of what you have garnered over your studies. And if you don't have tools, I am here, and I will share with you what you need. As I have gone through experiences in which these tools have helped beyond any measure, beyond words. And they have gotten to me to a place of where purity is the natural state, and recognizing life in every cell of my being. Where the reactions, the turmoils, are not swayed in my consciousness, in my mental body, so much anymore. When I used to live in densely populated areas, cities, when it was a state of affairs for my daily life. And truly, when you put forth the calls necessary for your being to be infused with greater light, that will automatically bring you into your divine plan for you to fulfill calls that need to be taken all over the world, because that is the natural state of your light, the light of all life that wants to bring life higher everywhere. So make the calls, dear ones. Infuse yourself in the violet flame, so the past does not need trouble your consciousness anymore. That is the power of that flame that erases thousands of habits, thousands of momentums, of deepened mortal consciousness that in the past deeds to others could not fully balance. The grace of the violet flame, the grace of Saint Germain, and the grace we have today through our sustenance of being alive and here in order to bring their vision, their momentum, and their desire of God perfection to the lives of all. Once you know this information, you cannot turn back. So just love that aspect of your mission, which is love, which is the transformation for all to come into. Love, not hate, not resentment, not even irritation, no fear, no victim consciousness. It's done today. If you want it so, desire it and it will be yours. Bring forth the momentums of the Godhead through you today, until all are ascended. Truly a gift you bring to yourself through the purification of your instruments. Is a gift my vision, and words will never be able to be described in totality of the one and all, in the grace of God, life to all, bringing them into the divine plans of fulfilling the music of the spheres to their environment, to the harmonic kindness of communities in that environment. Choose God, and all will ascend. You have the opportunity to override the free will of all humanity. If it is destructive, that is your power. Beloved gods and goddesses, beloved Chilas, you may compel all to the will of God, to the will of the One. And do this for me. Do it for the children and the youth who are suffering. Do it for life and for those who came before. See the vision of your state by purifying your garment and becoming still into your divine plan. worries will fail, and you will rise, for all to rise. Go forth and take your stand, my friends, and know what you must do, know what you must understand, and know the will of God.